Hey everyone, let me show you today how our Alexa works with server built on Ruby and how they can interact with each other. Here we have our Amazon Alexa device, and as you can see on the screen we have a project built on developer.amazon.com with already set up intents and with slots like date, reason, time, and so on. We have our Ruby server running on the backend and ngrok that helps us to redirect Amazon queries to our local server. So let's see how it works in action. Alexa, open the Atom demo.
Welcome to your company assistant. How can I help you?
So on this step, as you can see, Amazon sent us a request to our server. It was a post request. You can see this request on my screen right now. As far as you can see, it was a launch request, and there was no any other parameters. And as well, when our application, then our Ruby server received a launch request, it went to the request handler and it checked if it's a launch request. Let's just respond it with some welcome message, like welcome to your company assistant, how can I help you? Our server sent this response as a JSON to Amazon server, and Alexa was able to talk to us. She told us this response, welcome to your company assistant. Because I didn't say her anything else after, Alexa sent a request that had a type session end request without any parameters and just turned off. So let's try to ask her something now. So we will say her again, run project, the Atom demo. So it will send a launch request again, and it will say all the text, this welcome message, and then it will wait for us for any other command, and we will ask her to get some help. So it will go and tell us what can she do. Let's check how it works, and I will show you everything from the code part later. Alexa, open the Atom demo.
Welcome to your company assistant. How can I help you?
Can I get some help?
I'm your office assistant. You can ask me different questions like, how many employees do we have? Or how many employees are working on date? Also, you can set a meeting by saying set meeting on date.
So, as first you can see, basically, we run our application again on Alexa. It sent us a launch request. Then it sent us a welcome message that we sent back to her. And then I told her, Alexa, can you give me some help? Or can I get some help? In this case, Alexa just checked all the intents. There is an intent get help that receives commands like give me some help, what can you do, can you help, commands, help, and so on. And as soon as Alexa hears one of these keywords, it understands that we need to launch this intent, and she responds to our Ruby server like, can you give me an answer on this intent, on intention to get some help? As far as you can see here, it sends us an intent request with intent name get help. Our Ruby server catches this request, so if it is an intent request, we need to select an intent that she wants and give it a response. Intent selector just checks the class of the intent, and then it takes one of our intents that I already built, and it says a response from that intent. So basically, it was looking for intent, get some help, classified and constantized it into get help intent, and then response was I'm your office assistant, you can ask me different questions, and so on. This is how work just basic intents without any parameters. Let's check how intents with parameter works. For this, I think we can try to, for example, get working employee inbound. So as soon as Alexa will hear something like, can you get me working employee on date, or how many employees are present on date, or one of these keywords, it will understand that the last keyword that we marked as date will be a date time keyword, and it will have to send it to our Ruby server. So it recognizes what I was saying, converts it to normal Amazon date time or date type, and then it sends it to our Ruby server so we can work with it and send a normal response. So let's check it out. Alexa, open the Atom demo.
Welcome to your company assistant. How can I help you?
How many employees are working on Tuesday?
On August 14th, 2018, we have 0 of people checked in the system.
So what just happened? We again received intent with name get working employee amount, and Alexa recognized Tuesday as a date and converted it to a normal date with value 2018-08-14. That is, I think it will be Tuesday. Yeah, it is next Tuesday. And send it to our Ruby server. So all that we had to do is to get working employee amount. We need to parse this date with any datetime class, and then check our database if there is some people with last check date of that date or date range or anything that we will write. And we are just sending a response that on this date so many people are working right now. Another type is dialogues. You can see that in all the Alexa presentations, or if you will just run built-in Alexa's helpers. For example, we can ask Alexa to get some earnings, and maybe let's see what we have. Yeah, we can ask her to get an invoice sum. So you can see there is 2 slots that are parameters as type and date. Type is open invoices, closed invoices, or all of them, and date will be date range from which we will need to fetch that invoices. In our database, invoices have the next parameters. It has price, account is closed or open one, and just created add and updated add fields. So as you can see, this is a required slot, and if you haven't told her to something like get invoice sum of opened invoices on this date, or if she didn't recognize that, in this case she will have to ask you again, because this slot is required. So she'll have to ask you, is it open invoices, closed ones, or maybe total ones, and it will listen to your response and it will set a type of that response. The same with the date. Date is a mandatory parameter, so it will have to ask you date in any case, and then it will listen to the date. Let's see it in action. So after that, I will be able to explain you how it works. So Alexa, open the Atom demo.
Welcome to your company assistant. How can I help you?
What is our invoice sum?
Is it open invoices, closed or total ones?
It is open invoices.
For which month do you want to receive the information?
This month.
Invoice sum of all our open invoices on 2018-08 is $82,063.
So as you could hear and as you can see, Alexa sent us a request to get invoice sum with slots of date type and name date with the current value, and with type that is open invoices, and we just fetched the invoice from the database. So how it works? As soon as we're sending the intention to get an invoice sum, Alexa sends us a request. This request, if we will look for it in the console, so it is an intention request to get an invoice sum, and dialog state is started. So Alexa says us that she wants to start a dialogue with us about current invoice sum. But for now, there should be parameters like date and type, but it doesn't have any values for these parameters, so it can't request from us any information. So it just wants to start a dialogue to get the parameters. So in this case, we're sending her as a response that we are ready to start a dialogue with her with intention of get invoice sum, and that we need the parameters like slots that are type, that will be type and date, and that right now they are not confirmed, so there is no parameters, so we can't accept them, and that this response, it shouldn't end Alexa session for now. Alexa receives this response from us, and she understands that we are okay to talk with her, but we require two parameters that right now are denied. So it checks, it doesn't have any questions to ask to get information about these parameters. And as far as you can see, for the invoice type, we set it up that she can ask us, is it open invoices, closed, or total ones, and wait until we will answer something. So it listens to the response, sets a type, and sends it back to us. Dialog state will be in progress, so Alexa wants to continue talking to us because not all the parameters are clear yet, but it already sends us a parameter called type with the value open, and it asks us, will we accept this parameter or not? Also, because it's not a built-in type, I created this type. I created a possible values for this type. So possible values are open, closed, or total ones. It heard open, it checked the possible parameters, and it found that there is a parameter open that is built by me. So it sent us a code that it was successfully matched with the list of parameters. Our Ruby server receives this response from Alexa, and we can do anything. We can do whatever we want with this response. So we can, for example, we don't want just to check the status of invoices, but we're saving some information in the database, and this open status will not be working for us. So right now our Ruby code can decide, do we want to confirm this answer or not? So it sends us value open, and from our side it waits us to confirm or deny this value. Right now I just confirmed it because it was expected that it will ask us an open value. So I send that, okay, this value for slot called type is confirmed. I can work with this value, but now there is one more value that is date that is still denied, so I'm still waiting for this date. Alexa checks again its parameters and questions and asks us the date. We answered her this month, so it recognized this month and converted it into machine readable format that was 2018-08. And Alexa asks us, do we want to confirm this value as well, or for some reason she understood it wrong and we can't get any information for this date, so she will have to ask again. In this case, I told her that yes, this value is accepted, so I can confirm it. But in case if we can't accept this value, for example, she heard date time parameter, or she heard some word that she couldn't recognize and she sent us some nonsense. In this case, we can send her denied and she will ask person again about this value. Now I confirmed two values and I have nothing else to confirm here. So I'm sending her a dialog delegate that both parameters are confirmed and I'm not waiting for anything else. Alexa checks my response and she says, okay, so our Ruby server checked two parameters, it confirmed it. So from Alexa's side, everything is clear as well. And she sends us a request, again with this intent and with all the parameters that we already approved. And it sends a confirmation status of our dialog as confirmed and dialog state is completed. So we figured out all the parameters, we confirmed them, and now she tells us that right now your code can do last actions and work with all these parameters. The dialog is completed. So from our side, on the last step, we're going to get working employee amount, and we're doing just the last step. We're checking the date, we're checking open state or closed state, and we're sending the response. To work with the dialogues, I wrote a dialog intent that checks if dialog is still in progress. In this case, it gets a dialog schematics and that has type, the dialog delegate, that checks the name of the parameter for each group of the parameter and for intents. Then it generates slots and it checks all the slots and parameters. As you will be able to read later on GitHub, all the links will be added to my blog post. And that I don't want to end this session. In case if dialog is not in progress or it's not started, so if dialog is completed, it just sends us a default schematics where we're sending the end response to Alexa that she needs to tell to the customer. And the same we can work with different update or create actions. Like if we want to create a meeting or project, we can work with the same dialog intent. So basically the mechanism is the same. Alexa will ask us a few questions. We will need to confirm them. We'll need to give her answers. We will need to confirm them from the Ruby side. And as a last action, Alexa will just send us all the values and we will just need to create a new project with the values that she sent. Let's just check it out. Alexa, open the Atom demo.
Welcome to your company assistant. How can I help you?
Set a new project.
How should I call the project?
New project.
Can you please specify a budget?
5,000.
The requested skill took too long to respond.
Yeah, sorry, I just had my terminal in scroll mode, so it couldn't respond normally. Let's try one more time. Alexa, open the Atom demo.
Welcome to your company assistant. How can I help you?
Set a new project.
What is the name of a project?
New project 2.
What will the be budget?
5,000.
Project new project 2 created. Budget set to 5,000.
And
If you will need any more help, just call my name.
so as you can see, Alexa just created a project with title New Project 2 and with a budget 5,000. And it did.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Yeah. And it did all the steps that we were talking about before. So basically, we told her set a new project. Alexa sent us a request that she wants to start a dialogue. We sent her a response that we need two parameters, name and budget. In this case, Alexa checked if she can ask something for the name. I gave her two prompts to ask. So how can I call the project, or what is the name of a project? She will ask them both randomly. And I set her one of these responses so she could recognize the name. She sent us back the name. We confirmed that, okay, there is no project in our database with this name, so we can confirm it. And project name sounds okay, so it's not some nonsense. And we can confirm this name. In this case, Alexa received a response that, okay, name is confirmed. So now we need to go to another parameter that is budget and ask for it. She asked one of these questions, received one of these answers, sent it to us. We checked that budget is a number, it's a positive number, so okay, we can save it. We sent her a response that, okay, we're accepting the budget. Alexa checked that there is nothing else to ask, send us a complete request with confirmed state, as you can see here, and completed dialog state that please please set a project with this name, new project 2, and with budget that is 5,000, and everything was confirmed, and dialog state will be completed after. So from my code, I checked the dialog intent that dialog state is completed, so dialog is not in progress, and I prepared a default schematics that is just schematics for the dialog, and that will just send a response, a text response that we are preparing, and text response will be project title, created, budget set to new project.budget. And we're creating a budget and setting all these parameters. And all the slots are being checked in the dialog intent. Right now there is no big checks, just checks if there is any value, and if there is any value, then it confirms. But you can update this code and write any checks like length check, or maybe if database already contains such name or something else, and then send her confirmed or denied based on this answer. So this is how you can build a basic application that is very simple and takes not a lot of time. And Alexa will be able to fetch all the records from the database. It will be able to give you answers. It will be able to give you different calculations, like sum of invoices or something else, sum of employees that are working on different projects or something like that. And it will be also able to update something, like maybe you will want to write an intent to update project or create project or something like this. Also, you can connect, because it's a Ruby code, you can write everything. Like you can connect it to GitHub and tell like Alexa, what is our latest 5 commits? And then it will send some requests to API of GitHub, check 5 latest commits and give them back to you, and you will create a response for Alexa, and you can tell her to tell that response. So Alexa is a very good tool to recognize your speech, and Amazon's API works perfectly with it. It can recognize numbers, it can recognize dates, it can recognize different keywords from the lists that you are sending to it, and then it can send you already recognized and machine-readable parameters. So you will just need to take these parameters in your code and work with them as you want. And after that, you can build a response that will be human readable, and Alexa will be able just to pronounce it. Also, you can set different types of voices for Alexa. Right now, I'm working only with basic text response, but there is advanced text syntax that can set different voices and whisper and yell to Alexa, so it can whisper you some answer, and so on. So you can just try it out and build some amazing new applications. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time.